I feel the heat.
Do you?
Coming off of you.
Well, yes, I'm having hot flashes or because I'm sitting on a heating pad.
I don't know. Jenna's sitting on a heating pad right now because my girl's in pain.
I can barely sit, first of all. Yeah, these shots are kicking my ass, literally. Yeah, I'm struggling right now. I'm having a hard time. I'm in a bit of a waiting game right now. I wasn't sure how much I was going to say and talk about this, but yeah, I'm losing my mind. I've been up since 2 a.m. Wheezy had diarrhea all night. I was sick to my stomach. Jeez. I think Wheezy's stressed because I'm stressed, or she just ate something bad.
Dogs definitely pick up on our stress for sure.
Yeah, I'm struggling.
But you know what, dogs? It's your job. It's your job as a dog to make me not feel stress, right? Like you're supposed to be my companion.
You're supposed to soothe me when I'm going through some shit.
You're supposed to be my support animal, and yet you're letting my anxiety get to you, and she's
such a good dog, though. Do you know what she does? She it'll be middle of the night, and some dogs will just like jump off the bed because she sleeps on the bed and Hefe's downstairs in a crate. I'll feel her because I'm kind of a light sleeper, so I'll feel her start to rustle around. She gets uncomfortable, and I can tell something's going on. And then she comes up and she puts her little chin on my shoulder and wags her tail just to try and like gently wake me up. Like,
Aww.
Mommy, I don't feel good. And I was like, okay, do you need to go potty? And she'll jump off the bed and we can like barely make it downstairs.
So we almost got a pug.
I know all about this. Do you know that Kinsey sent me a photo of a little black pug over the weekend and said, please, please, please say something to Jose about it. So this is me saying something to you about it. It appears a decision's already been made.
I agreed. I was all about the pug life.
Yes!
At first I was like, this is what I threw down, and this makes me an awful person, and I was totally joking. I'm just going to preface this by saying I was joking. But I said, all right, if you're going to bring this beautiful, cute black pug, and she was adorable, by the way.
I know exactly what you're going to say, I think. This is how well I know you.
Like, our girl Coco got to go.
Yes, I knew you were going to say that. It's so true. You got to get rid of one. That's what Fran says if we have a baby. Right. He's like, one has to go.
One's got to go. And obviously, that's not going to happen just because I don't know what it was about me saying that, but I think Coco understood because I was on a call with Kinsey. Kinsey was in Vegas. And so Coco literally jumped up on my chest and started like trying to snuggle with me. It's like she understood. So I agreed. I agreed we would bring in and adopt this little black baby pug. And when I finally agreed, we hit the girl up. And about a couple hours later, she goes, hey, bad news. I was like, oh, what? Somebody snatched? You said you were going to hold on to this baby pug.
What?
And she goes, the owners came forward. So
she was lost.
So the story on this, so they found this.
Oh my God. I thought you were going to say the dog died. I was like, I needed that website, Does the Dog die, for the story.
No. It was not that. It was not bad news. It was bad news for my family because my kids.
So she was a lost dog.
They found her on the street, just looking majestic as fuck.
Absolutely. You could tell she had been taken care of.
Like think of an in-shape pug, right? Those pugs that have like the big chest and like the cute skinny waist and like the nice legs, like they don't like Hefe but cuter. Like Hefe but cuter. I don't know what it was about this pug. I think it was just because it was almost.
It was cute. It was kind of skinny. It was cute though.
A little skinny pug, but I was gonna feed her. Don't worry, guys. She was definitely going to get fed.
Oh, well, what? Well, it's good that the owners found her. You got to tell your kids that, imagine how you would feel if you lost one of your dogs.
Exactly. And you know what it would have sucked? I think this was meant to be, Jenna, because what if we would have taken the dog in and then the owners would have come forward and then I got to tell my kids, hey, just kidding, guys. We don't have a pug anymore. We got to give this dog back to the
That would have been even harder.
Which would have destroyed my son and my daughter.
Another one will come along. You know, I've actually gotten both of mine from, and I wish they were a sponsor of the show. They can be. They're a charity. But the DFW Pug Rescue.
Yes.
Texas and California are kind of known to have the biggest pug rescues. And I'm not trying to stand on like a soapbox by any means, but I've become such a proponent of dog rescue because puppies are hard. And I think everyone goes through that phase that they want, I want this purebred puppy. But I think what a lot of people don't realize is rescue dogs aren't always just like old and dying and senile, and the ones no one wants. This isn't like you're just going to the pound and picking up a mutt. You can find breed specific rescues just by kind of looking in your area. You may have to drive, to a state over depending on what you want, but they have golden retriever rescues, lab rescues. And so those rescue groups normally go to the shelters, find those dogs before they're either euthanized or they at least put them in foster homes and they stay pretty breed specific. And you can get on lists for puppies. They work out and negotiate deals with breeders. And so, because it's really bad when you breed a dog, really they say like more than once or twice. And so they'll make a deal with breeders because there's really nothing you can do to get, you can see how much I know about this. I'm like educated. I hope it's not boring. Maybe it's interesting, but I'll always feel so happy if one person tells me they adopted a dog or a pug. But They say that, breeders, you see sometimes dogs are in pretty shitty conditions. And unfortunately, legally, there's nothing you can do about it. They say as long as dogs have access to food and water, even if they're living outside, even if you can tell that they're not treated very well, but there is food and water there, animal services can't do a damn thing about it. And so what these dog rescue groups will do is they'll go negotiate with these breeders, especially the bad ones, that are kind of scamming. And they'll say, okay, every litter, we'll stop hounding you and reporting you to animal services every month, because that's what they'll do. If you agree to give us the one that just, had the puppies, after they've had 1 or 2 litters of puppies, give us the mom. Ooh. And give us 1 puppy from each litter, and we'll kind of have a good arrangement. That way they start to kind of, take away some of the mistreated animals.
They're freeing the animals by negotiating, which you got to do with these people, because otherwise they would hold on to these dogs.
I don't know. So anyway, that's interesting. And that was just with pug rescue, what I've been told, but they say that happens quite a bit with most of the breed specific rescues. So yeah, I would just start kind of looking around for that. And you can be specific. Like I told them I want a pug, a girl or a boy, a block or a fawn between 1 and 4. So they're not quite puppy, but they're also not so old they're about to croak.
Right. I want a young pug.
Yeah.
And I think I would name it Young Pug.
Young Pug.
YP.
Young Pug. Pug. I love that.
I want to become like not like the Dexter, because I'm not going to be killing anybody, but like the superhero for dogs, and breaking into these breeders' houses and stealing those dogs and giving them to the shelters.
So like the Robin Hood of dogs.
The Robin Dog.
Robin, yeah.
The Robin like Dog that. Hood. The Robin Dog Hood. That's what I would like to become one day. I'm thinking about it.
I like it.
So if you guys hear of any breeders being jacked, this is your boy. It was me. I did it. Come get it.
I know. It makes me want to go on those drives too when they go. But they say it can be so devastating because a lot of the dogs don't make it. It's really sad. And it would be really difficult for me.
And by the way, this explains why Kinsey hit me up on the bachelorette party and goes, Jenna hit you up. And I meant to call you because I got scared. I was like, did something happen to Jenna? Like, is Fran out of town and she needed me to come give her a shot in the butt or something? And I was like, no, she didn't hit me up. Why? And she goes, oh, okay. And then she told me that later, but I didn't put 2 and 2 together that she was actually reaching out to you to
I dropped the ball. I dropped the ball. I had a lot going on with this IVF.
Yeah,
and so I was actually I had to be kind of like on bed rest all weekend, which is making me go fucking crazy. And the worst part about having to take it easy, I can't exercise. I can't have intercourse. I can't do any of my stress relieving activities, which include drinking wine. And it could not come at a worse time because for the first time in my life, we have gotten a wine subscription endorsement, and I am just so upset, but I mean in a good way because I might be pregnant. I have to consider myself pregnant right now.
The good news is Fran, Kinsey, and I can drink all the wine thanks to First Leaf. Belief in First Leaf.
And this is the thing: who hasn't been the person in the wine store? And this is still me, even though I say I know some things about wine. They asked me on my quiz that I took at First Leaf when I went on the site. They were like, how familiar are you with wine? I knew all the wines they gave me in the multiple choice to choose which ones I liked. But anyway, but think about when you go to the store and you're like, oh my God, do you buy wine based on price point or are you just like a label, right? That's kind of how most of us tend to shop for wine. But with First Leaf, they're gonna lay it out right there for you. No guesswork, no misguided recommendations. You get to choose the kind of like white or red, whatever you want. So now I have a whole box of reds. I like cabs so heavy I can chew them. That's what I asked. That's what I asked the sommelier from. Even in the middle of the summer, I actually don't really like white wine very much. And
see, I like white wine out there and like by the pool. And I know that I don't know if you're supposed to do
tart and crisp.
Really? Oh, I like to put a little ice in there just to cool me down a little bit.
But this is the thing with First Leaf, they work directly with the world's best winemakers. So you're going to get incredible wines. It's 60% off retail because if you don't know about that wine markup, then now you do. But I just got my first box. I'm so excited. I have a wine fridge.
Same. We haven't even opened it up yet because I'm like saving it for a nice little night with Kinsey since she was out of town. But I'm so excited. Like Jenna, she's a little well-versed with wine. She knows a little bit more than I do.
I know what I like.
Exactly. Yeah. And I'm a noob. I don't know what's going on in the wine world. And First Leaf is absolutely a big help when it comes to that.
And listen to this. I mean, I can't get over the price. Save time, money, and stress with First Leaf. The wine club designed with you in mind. Join today. You get 6 bottles of wine for $29.95 and free shipping. Just go to tryfirstleaf.com/Fitish. Again, that's FIRSTLEAF, firstleaf.com/Fitish for 6 bottles of wine for just $29.95 and free shipping. Come on.
That's a deal right there.
Drink for me.
That is a deal right there. That's the best club ever. Shout out to First
love
Leaf.
it.
I know your butt hurts a little bit because you're on the heating pad, but I pulled my butt, Jenna. I don't know.
This is what men do.
I did wrong.
This is what men do. You're like Francisco. I am going through the hardest thing I've ever put my body through in my entire life.
Yep.
And Francisco goes, I'm feeling the hormones too.
I feel like we just want to be a part of your pain, right?
So tell me how you pulled your butt muscle.
I don't know. I honestly, I went out and did a little running. So I don't know if I did it when I was running.
Probably. Did you stretch? You know you're at the age. So we've gotten to this age, I don't know if you know this, that you actually have to warm up and cool down.
It's called the audible.
Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's the audible age.
We hit that age that you can't just jump on the treadmill anymore.
Mm-hmm. It's the audible age where everything you do comes with a sound, okay? I think it was when I bent over to pick something up. And it was like right in the upper glute area. So I'm like, how do you hurt that? You know, like I didn't do anything crazy. I wasn't out there doing pretzel stretches.
And you kind of have a ghost butt like Fran, right?
No, it's bubbly now. I've been doing a lot of donkey kicks.
It's not bubbly. Let me see. It's not bubbly. Oh, no. You can't stick it out like that.
Mike?
It's pretty good.
Is it bubbly?
No, it's there. I mean, stand straight up. You have to be watching us on YouTube for moments like this. Yeah.
How's it look? I feel
there's
like my
something
butt
there.
is cuter naked, but I'm not going to do that to you guys right now. Like in my underwear, I feel like even Kinsey the other day was like, oh, and she's never said this to me. She said, you got a butt. You got a booty. Because I've been doing my squats. I've been doing donkey kicks. I've been doing air squats just randomly.
I'm hot and sweating, but it's not because you're talking about your naked butt, I promise.
Good.
I'm having like super hot flashes.
But anyway, so I just wanted you to know that I feel your pain.
I appreciate that so much.
Just one butt, not both butts, but one butt.
It's quite a bonding experience having Fran do the shot every day. And you know, the worst part is some of them I have barely felt, and some of them it's like a knife going into my butt cheek. And then the suspense and the anticipation of the shot every morning sucks because you never know which one it's going to be. And yesterday it was like the most painful one I've had so far for no rhyme or reason. I numbed, I iced. The day before I iced so much I almost gave myself frostbite, which was amazing. Highly recommend. Fran said my skin was crispy. I couldn't feel the injection at all, and I've gotten feeling back in that area. So I think you need to toe the line of frostbite. That's my medically approved advice for giving an injection.
Let me ask you this though, because I know that you guys have been doing a lot of needles in that vicinity. But remember that doctor you made me go to when I hurt my shoulder?
Oh, shit.
Dr. Payne?
Yeah.
Dr. Payne, right? He told me, and so I hurt my shoulder, and Jenna goes, look, I got this guy that's a sports medicine dude, and he is going to make you feel right.
I guess he's technically a chiropractor, but he works with like elite athletes on recovery. So instead of taking 7 months to recover from an injury, if you can handle the pain, he like gets in there and breaks up all the scar tissue. Oh, it's like another world of pain.
So he used to do this treatment with the needles.
Yeah.
Remember, like he sticks them in with like electroshock?
It's electroacupuncture is what it is. So it's acupuncture, needles attached to an electric charge.
So I got to feel what it felt like when it went into my shoulder, and it felt like a Snickers because it was like crunchy.
Oh, yeah.
And he goes, you feel that? I was like, yeah, I'm strong. And he goes, no, that's not your muscle. That's scar tissue. That means you're jacked up in there.
Yeah.
Is that what it's starting to feel for you? Like, are you developing scar tissue where it feels like a Snickers?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
Just bumps, lumps, couple of, like the other day I had the shape of California. I think I had an allergic reaction on one cheek. They said that happens with the oil sometimes. No, Fran's actually been really good. I mean, you're supposed to massage after, so, but I understand over the course of 80 some odd shots, you know, we're now only a couple weeks in, that you start to hurt more, you start to get a little more cavalier, I guess, about the whole thing, and you don't do what I'm supposed to be doing, right? You're supposed to massage for a minute after, you're supposed to spend the 30 minutes numbing beforehand, you're supposed to sit on a heating pad, you're supposed to do this kind of whole regimen, and I understand why women just start to be like, whatever, I don't have time for this shit, but then you start to get really bad bruises and lumps and whatnot. So I think he likes it. It makes me so sad. One brought a tear to my eye the other day. I've been pretty tough other than that, but fuck, I don't know how I'm going to make it through. I think once you find out you're pregnant, you're like, okay.
It was worth it.
There's an end in sight, you know, and I'm doing this to protect, you know, whatever's growing inside of me.
I think if you could do it if you did what you did with Dr. Payne, I think that you're definitely going to be able to get through this and get that baby going.
See, and that was the first time in my life. I appreciate that, first of all. But you know how men just like don't think women are very tough? I think most men that have seen women go through labor probably have a different appreciation. But I can tell Francisco, he's very tough when it comes to stuff. I mean, he's had motorcycle crashes, and they say stuff like that's super painful, with like the pavement in his legs. But I can tell that when he's doing the shots, like he's like, oh, I've done these to myself before. They don't really hurt. So I and then it makes me mad because I feel like he thinks I'm like a fucking pussy. And he's like, no, I don't. I think you're tough. But I try to reference this situation when we went to Dr. Wu, and I was like, it's a really high level of pain to get through. And JC's like, okay, Jenna's saying that if I can handle it. And then he went and
let me describe what I walked in, okay? Because Jenna warned me. She goes, it's going to hurt. And I was like, no, I'm pretty good.
You gotta mentally prepare.
I'm pretty good when it comes to pain. I've had broken bones. I damn near broke my neck. I played football for 10 years. I'm like, I got this, Jenna. I walked in and I see this big ass 250-pound bodybuilder on a table face down, and I look down and I see what appears to be just a pool of sweat. And I'm like, oh damn, my mind's sweating, but it's not even that hot in here. You know what I'm saying? I was like, oh,
something's off here.
I was like, maybe he just has high metabolism. I was like, man, my man's sweating, and he goes, oh, those are tears, dude. This big ass dude was full on, not crying loud. He was just letting them flow out the eyeballs and falling down to the ground, and created such a pool of tears that I could have swam in there for about 3 laps.
And then did you get where he was coming from shortly after?
My goodness. Yes, I teared up. It was the type of pain. And if you're thinking about this, I will tell you this. It worked. It absolutely, my left shoulder it's like a 12-year-old boy's shoulder right now.
It's almost like in some of those injuries, like in lieu of surgery, you can get, it's called like Graston, I think is one of the techniques. And they use what looks like a metal shoehorn, and they're digging in. And mine was my plantar fasciitis in my heel. And it was like almost unbearable. I think I made it through 4 treatments and I couldn't do it anymore.
Oh my goodness. And so my left shoulder was good. And he goes, if you want to come back, I'll clear up your right shoulder, which was like the one I used to like put in, like when I would get hit in football and like throwing and stuff. And I was like, nah, man, I'm good. I'm just going to let that one be a regular age shoulder, and my left one could be the baby shoulder.
So I feel like I'm toughish.
You are. I would say you're toughish.
I think this whole process has made me kind of like...
Here's the thing I've noticed about living with Kinsey since we were teenagers. Us guys want to act like we're tough, and some of us guys are pretty tough as shit. But the pain girls have to put up with on a monthly basis, just from the cramping. And I'm not trying to kiss ass right now with the girls. I 100% think girls have a higher pain threshold than guys, mostly after realizing that we do not have to push any babies out of our vaginas because we don't have one. But the amount of pain that goes into that.
Yeah, I don't even think I'm going to be cut out for that shit.
Even if you have to have a C-section, the recovery for the C-section is a big bitch too. Like that hurts. So... Not to scare you.
Oh, don't worry. I've gone down every rabbit hole imaginable at 3 a.m. last night, about 2 hours into my insomnia.
At this point, what do you think would be better?
Since 3 a.m. I joined an IVF support group.
Good.
My first support group. It was amazing. Everyone talking about their 2-week wait and all of these things, and they use all this lingo and all these, acronyms that I feel like now I know what they mean, and they talk about their whole experience, and I just loved it. It's the first time I've ever wanted to join a support group.
I think support groups on social media are the best things. Like when I did my little COVID support group, when I had it, it just makes you feel better.
Everyone was uplifting, by the way. It's the first time I've ever read a message board. I read 232 pages of a message board last night. Just let me put it out there like that. 232 pages of a message board, not a single mean comment, not a single political comment. Like everyone has something in common that they're really passionate about. And it's all about IVF and miscarrying and support and things like that. It was amazing.
Not every support group is that way though, because I'm in a one-wheel group, my little skateboard that I ride, and there's a bunch of assholes on that one. Like you fall down and you just want to get some sympathy. Like a guy will put up and he's got crazy road rash, broken collarbone, and then there's dudes making fun of him with memes. So not every support group is gonna be a positive experience. But like the one Jenna's in right now, those are the best ones. When I joined my COVID one, those are great ones. There's ones that I have friends that lost little ones, kids, and they joined one of those.
Yeah.
And that they said that is what was a lifesaver for them.
Yeah, because that's that's the club no one wants to be a part of.
We just don't want to feel alone. Mostly as humans, we don't want to feel alone when it comes to something so so heartbreaking and so tough to deal with, that when you have other people that have gone through it and can give you their advice on how to deal with that pain, it absolutely helps. So if you're going through anything right now, I know they have hotlines you could call, but a support group on Facebook can absolutely change your mentality, in my opinion.
I thought about doing a therapy session alone, but then I feel like, because Fran and I, we had done therapy together.
Mm-hmm. You don't want to cheat on him?
Can I do one alone and not tell him?
I mean,
because it's not as much about.
Just tell him. Like, it's fine to tell somebody, hey, I need alone therapy. It's fine.
He's been getting good, but I'm losing my shit, to be totally honest.
Go.
I don't feel comfortable in my own skin, and I know it's the medicine, but I don't feel comfortable in my own skin. I want to like murder everyone. Everyone's annoying the shit out of me, and I just need to be like home alone in a little bubble. And and I was like, I think I need to. I start to get stressed too about things that haven't happened yet, which is so lame. I start thinking about like, Fran was like really annoyed when Weezy had diarrhea last night to take her out, and then it stressed me out because I'm like, what if it was a baby? Like, I can't fucking say that, like. But
you can.
What if it was a baby? Are you gonna be annoyed when the baby's crying in the middle of the night? You're gonna have that attitude, and then it's gonna stress me out. And I'm like, I can't go here because I know my mind's just racing. I felt yesterday like I had smoked crack or something, which I've only done one time. So I'm kidding. I have never told this story, and I guess I can tell this story. Okay, there was one.
Wait, what?
There was one. Okay. Can I tell this story? It's so inappropriate. This was many years ago. I had actually just moved to Dallas, and I was in Las Vegas, and everyone I was around, I mean, this is kind of when you become an adult and you realize like everyone you know does cocaine except for you, and you're kind of like, yeah, well, you don't. We don't.
I just can't. Here's the thing about cocaine. I will never do it. I
can't believe I'm going to tell you all this story.
I will never do it just because I can't. Chemicals that are created or manufactured or messed with by humans, I just cannot stick into my body. I can't do it.
I've done it. Yeah. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I really do. And I definitely know a lot of people that do it all the time. I think that's kind of, I know you see memes online
that right? It's highly addicting.
That you
that's
see
scary.
People, that you see people that, that's always the joke, right? That it's like the one thing you learn as you're an adult. It's like so many people, actually do it all the time. And so anyway, it would kind of open my eyes because when I went to college, I never did anything like that. I mean, I drank and I smoked pot. And I had cigarettes sometimes.
Regular college experience.
I didn't even smoke pot that much in college. Yeah, that was kind of it. Yeah, alcohol. That was my experience with drugs in general. And so yeah, but when I moved to Dallas, bigger city, I was kind of hanging with this crew of people that was not cool. I wasn't friends with them for more than like 6 weeks. Yeah, but they were all of these rich kids and they all do so much coke. And I was like, what is happening here? And so I had never in my life actually done it. So I was presented with it and kind of fell into this peer pressure, and so
I guess they're all doing it.
But I didn't know what I was doing, right? Okay. So I'm in Las Vegas and it's like 4:00 in the morning and someone like gives that to me and I was like, I guess I'll try it. And I thought I was gonna die. Like my nose was about to fall off in the bathroom. Like I thought I was having some sort of Pulp Fiction moment.
Oh my God.
I went outside and I said something to someone. I was like, I don't think I did that right. Like it was kind of this embarrassing thing. And they go, what did you do with it? And I was like, well, I snorted it. And they were like, that's crack.
What are you supposed to do with it?
Why did someone give me crack?
But what do you do with it?
You like eat the crack or smoke the crack. You don't snort the crack because crack is like bad. I can't believe I'm telling this story. Is this a story I should be telling? This is like I do not condone this. I was 24 years old. I got tricked and I shouldn't have been doing any of that anyway, but it was like one of those Vegas things like New Year's Eve. I was like, whatever. And so that was a one and done with the crack for me. I felt like absolute shit. I was up until 10:00 in the morning. I walked outside. I had a fake eyelash on my cheek on the Las Vegas Strip. Mm-hmm. That is what I looked like at 10:00 in the morning. I can't believe, I'm always real with y'all, but yeah, it was like a horrible experience. But yeah, so don't do crack.
That's your PSA. Don't do crack.
Don't do anything. It's made me like so freaked since then. Yeah, but just, some of those upper drugs for me, they make me feel, look at me right now. Like I'm already like anxious. It's like horrible Adderall is what I would compare it to for me,
I got tricked one time too, Jenna, like the way you got tricked. It wasn't I don't know if it's a hard drug or whatever, but we were at a friend's house, and these guys were bodybuilders. These guys were like, not bodybuilders, like huge body, but they were into like fitness. And so we go, and they have these little caps, like what you normally take your cough syrup in?
Yeah.
And they put them, they fill them up with this liquid, and they shot them like a shot. And so I'm like, oh, I guess we're taking shots. I thought it was going to be like Everclear or something. And so one of the guys fills it up and he goes, do you want one? And I didn't know what the hell it was. Kinsey was with me and it was like 5 of us there. And I was like, yeah, I'll take a shot. And I took it and it didn't taste like anything. It was a little bit salty. And so I'm like, okay, so that was an alcohol. And my mind just started freaking out. I'm like, so I didn't want to be that like.
Salty?
It was salty. All I remember was like, it was just salty and didn't have taste. And I'm like sitting there for about 5 minutes. And I'm like, I don't want to sound like a wuss or anything, but like all these people took it. And so I finally like went over to my roommate and I was like, hey dude, what are those guys give me? And he goes, oh, did you take some of that crap? I was like, yeah, was it not alcohol? And he goes, no. I was like, well, what is it? And he goes, you just took like 12 beers, dude.
What?
And he goes, and I said, what is it then? It was like the Rohypnol or whatever, the
date rape drug?
Yes, I didn't want to call it that because I was like, oh my God. So I'm like, okay, what do I do? And
you roofied yourself.
I didn't mean to. I thought it was a shot of alcohol. I thought it was Everclear because they gave you such little amount of it.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, I'm freaking out. So I start, my heart rate starts going crazy. And I remember I went to the backyard and my anxiety kicked in so bad that it made me vomit.
Your butt cheeks clenched up.
My anxiety helped me and made me puke. And so I puked it out and I'm thinking, I was like, okay, so that got it out of my system. So I went inside and I told Kinsey, I was like, we got to go home.
Yeah.
Said, but why? We just started. And I was like, no, we got to go home. And so we walked our butts back home. And it was like literally 10 minutes.
How hungover were you?
Not at all.
Oh, I got roofied one time and I was just so phenomenally sick the entire night. It made me so sick. But you know what I've heard is that a lot of weightlifters and bodybuilders actually roofie themselves because they can handle it based on their like metabolism and their weight, and it's so low in calorie that like that's what they do. It's wild.
They told me that the next time. They said, yeah, that's what we do because we don't want to take in all this alcohol. They don't want to drink 12 beers. And it's supposed to be better for recovery because you get a better night's sleep. And I was like, yeah, can you guys in the future like tell people what you freaking put in a damn cup and before I freaking sip on it, like, hey, this is not alcohol. Would have been a nice, not just like here. Which was, I was only like, I was 21 maybe. So I was super young. I was an idiot. And then I was there with the dog after I puked and I'm trying to keep the dog away from me. I was like, please don't do this, little puppy. So then I had to go find a hose and I squirted the hose all over to clean up and I got it all over my shoes. That night sucked.
Well, I think y'all can tell it's vital to know what is in the things that you're ingesting.
Don't ever take random stuff from people.
Yeah, no, don't do that. But this also comes down to just supplements in general, stuff that you know or you think is good for you. You need to find out exactly what's in them, but it can be really hard when you just go to a supplement store and you're like, I don't know. Again, I used to be the type of person that I would just get sold by the guy in the store, right? Or I would just look at labels and be like, this one looks good. Or by the price tag, oh, it's more expensive. It must be good. Care of is taking all the guesswork out of shopping for supplements, right?
You want to know what you're putting in your body, unlike what Jenna and I did when we were younger and stupid. The cool thing about Care of, though, you can go take an online quiz and you let them know what you're looking for. And then they'll put your bottle together for you. And that way or your little packet together for you. And then you'll get that in the mail and you just have it right there in your pantry, which is what I have. And I just pull out my packet every single day. It has my name on it and everything, which is really cool.
Are you looking for some more energy, maybe better sleep, or you're working on your fitness to target some of these goals, whether it's the short term or the long term? Care of is going to cater a vitamin profile plan just to you. It's really incredible, actually. You just go online and you take a short quiz, right?
Absolutely. Just go there. Take your quiz. It's really simple. It takes like 5 minutes or less. And if you want 50% off your first Care of order, go to takecareof.com/Fitish50. Enter that code Fitish50. Again, go to takecareof.com/Fitish50 and enter the code Fitish50. Get yourself all hooked up and take care of yourself.
Well, those were good stories. I hope y'all enjoyed that. I forgot about that story. Like, that's a pretty wild story. I'm usually not that wild. I mean, I'm less wild now than I've ever been. But yeah, I dabbled in a couple things for a while.
Now that I'm a dad, Jenna, and I know you're trying right now, you and Fran are trying. Now that I'm a dad, I often think back to when I was between the ages of, I would say, 13 and 26. And I wonder, how am I still alive? Because of all the dumb driving maneuvers I did, taking dumb things from random people that I shouldn't have taken, like that one time. I always think to myself, I'm like, damn, surviving is hard. And like, how did I get here? Like we survived all those scary moments, all those situations you put yourself in where there's like scary people around.
I know. It has to. It's so funny too, because when I see my dad, and so my dad got remarried, and they have 2 little kids, and I say little, they're growing up like crazy. I mean, my half brother is about to get his license, and then my little sister is 13, and I absolutely love them, and I'm spending more time with them, and it's so funny because my little brother has a girlfriend, his first girlfriend. And so I got to meet her the other day, and they're in the kitchen hanging out, pretty like quiet and awkward, whatever. And she seems all nice. And, but then he was having friends over later. And so they go upstairs in his room. My parents and then my stepmom and dad are really cool like that. I mean, they were very hands off with me when it came to hanging out with friends and doing stuff. They trusted me, and I was never that rebellious. I mean, I know I just told you a really inappropriate story, but I was 25 when that happened. So, but no, when I was in high school and whatnot. So anyway, so he's up in his room, and of course my stepmom says to my dad at some point, we were sitting outside, and was like, "Hey, where's Dylan? And are they up there alone? Are his friends over yet?" And Dad's like, "I don't know." My dad's like, "Whatever." And my dad, I said to him, I was like, "You don't think, because you start to think back to like that age, and then I think, okay, well,
how old is he?
I was 17. I was kind of late. I mean, he's 16, and kids these days, right?
Yep.
But we know that he doesn't drink, and because he actually talks openly about some of his friends drink or smoke pot or vape or whatever. And he's a good kid. He plays basketball.
But I'll tell you what I was doing. I was definitely shutting the door and trying to make out with chicks.
Right? And so I said to my dad, I was like, he has to be doing something, right? And my dad's like, meh. And he goes, and he does the hand motion. And it horrified me to see my dad do that motion with his hand to me, like, no, maybe Dad. That. And I said to my stepmom, of course, because I'm like, I like torturing her. And I was like, oh my gosh. And she just like, because as the mom, she's like, that's my little boy still. And I think, oh my gosh, of course stuff like that's happening, because it was happening with me and my friends when I was that age, and you're naive to think otherwise, right?
We used to have like makeout parties.
But why dad doesn't care about the boy, right? But they care so much about the girl. Like, you'll be much more overprotective over a girl than a boy. I don't know why that is.
I don't know why. I wish I could tell you there's an answer to that, but I think it's just, I don't know why. Because it's that saying that you've heard before that if you have a son, you only have to worry about one penis. And it's that kid. That's it. That's the only penis I got to worry about. Right? So I'm worried about, keep your penis away from everything else, right? But when you have a daughter, I'm worried about all the penises out there. Like, all the penises are little freaking snakes trying to sneak in there, So I think that's why, at least as dads, or maybe even moms, we get so and even moms, you guys dealt with this when you were teenagers, all these little freaking snakes trying to sneak in, So I think that's why. But I am going to have the same rule. Both my kids, when they get older, are not going to be allowed to have the door closed if they have a significant unless.
You don't want them making out?
It's not that I don't want them making out.
You did it, Dad.
I know I did it, but that's why I'm putting these rules. Make out like we all did when I turn my back and go to the kitchen to get a soda, right?
Because it doesn't just end with laying down making out.
Exactly, right? So I don't want to put
myself.
And if my son's gonna have a girl over at my house, I don't want him to put himself in a situation where he could be a little pushy or like the girl says something. I was like, no, we're gonna not close the doors. Everything's gonna be open. Same with my daughter. Door's gonna be open. In fact, no dudes. I don't even think I'm allowed people upstairs. Y'all stay downstairs, and I'm going to sit in between you guys. And if you guys want to hold hands, you're going to hold hands right here.
Oh,
right in between my legs. Right here is where your hands can
hold.
I say that now. I'm all tough, but like when it happens, it's probably not going to go down like that.
It is funny, going through all this, that you start to have a lot more conversations. I don't know if you did this with your parents about when you were a kid. When you start to go, want to have children of your own, it just kind of brings up, at least for me, it has. It's been really good, actually, because, I haven't always been that close with my dad. And so, to kind of have conversations to remind him of stories that my mom's told me when I was a newborn, and kind of, their fuck ups, or they were so freaked out, when they had me, they were like, we didn't know what we were doing. And so to kind of revisit and talk about that, it's really nice.
I think my mom was so scared just because she was a teen mom that she told me basically if I touched a girl, I would get her pregnant.
Yeah.
From like a young age. So I was really scared of doing that as a young kid. So I was very careful when I started getting active in that world. I think I would wear a condom just to make out. Just to be like super careful. Like I know nothing was going to, but I was like, let me go to the bathroom real quick and just put this on real quick. Cause I didn't know how it worked, when you're like super young, I was like, I just want to make sure nobody gets pregnant. So I'm just going to get this guy going.
I was getting a wax the other day and she was a younger Mexican mom, and she said that she had to have only been not even 30 years old, and she has a 15-year-old, 16-year-old. She said she first got pregnant when she was like 13 or 14 years old.
My goodness.
And it was interesting because she started telling me the story, and of course I was telling her that what I was going through, but I'm, 37 trying to have my first kid. And she said that her 3 kids have turned out really good. I mean, her daughter's kind of wild, but she's like, all I did was tell them, you don't want to be me. It was so hard. We didn't have everything we needed, when you were young, because she was 17, 18 years old with little bitty kids. And now she's, made something of herself and has done a lot better. But she said to me, she goes, I have a really hard time that, I don't want to put my daughter on birth control, but she's sneaking out and she's doing all these things. And I was like, I never want to be that person that gives like unsolicited advice, but I'm laying there getting a wax. I'm very vulnerable, and I felt that we had this sense of connection, I suppose, even though I'm not a parent. But I said to her, I was like, you probably don't want to hear this from me, but I'm letting you know, if you think your daughter's having sex and you don't want to put her on birth control, because I guess a lot of people think that that's like condoning sex by putting someone on birth control. I'm like, she's having sex. And I know you don't want to hear it, and she may say she's not, but by her behavior, she's like stealing the car, sneaking out, doing that kind of stuff, partying with her friends. This little rat is having sex. Like, put her on birth control if you don't want her to get pregnant. I mean, I'm a big proponent of that because I feel like you got to talk about it, and it protects them.
Yeah.
Because they're probably going to do it anyway. And if they're with a boy who doesn't know and doesn't wear a condom and all of this, I mean, you got.
Oh man, I hope all boys are taught to do that. I know a lot of them are not, just because it's an awkward conversation to have as a parent, and it's awkward. And going back to it, but I mean, I had girlfriends that were on birth control in high school, and they were very adamant about waiting till marriage. And they would
sometimes birth control, I had issues. So I was on birth control. I had horrible periods, which now I kind of realize I had some issues because of that and why I couldn't get pregnant naturally these days.
Fine.
But that's why I was on it. I wasn't having sex. I was on it because I needed it.
Did this happen in your school too, where like a girl would announce she went on birth control, and then it got around to like all these dudes thought that was like the green light?
Yeah.
And it's like, no, just maybe like if you do get on it, don't tell the boys. Just do it and just keep it. Because they like seriously would talk about it, be like, "Yo, you heard about so and so? She on birth control now." It's like, okay, so what? It's like,
well, sometimes it's because girls. I mean, some girls start going through puberty so young, like the poor girls that get huge natural boobs when they're like 13. I can't even imagine. I mean, I looked like a little boy.
What?
I didn't even get a period until I was 17 years old. So I was I was like a super late bloomer. And, but I mean, I had girlfriends that got it when they were 13. So it makes sense because I can't imagine having a daughter that young and trying to explain to her like how to wear a tampon and stuff. And what a grind to have a period starting that young.
My first my first kiss, the girl that I had my first kiss with, ended up getting pregnant like a year later. I think my first kiss with her was 8th grade is when she got pregnant, and she just was gone one day. And then I saw recently, like, her kids are men.
Yeah, they're like older than you.
They're like my age almost. They're like, yeah, she had kids, and I didn't know for a while because like nobody was talking about her. And then one day when we were, I think, sophomores in high school, she came back and she had like a kid.
I go through those nostalgic phases too, where I kind of wonder what happened, to certain people, because I'm so disconnected from most of my elementary and, grade school. So many of my friends, I grew up in Cincinnati, and so many of them from all those stages are still there. And I'm really one of the only ones that's not. And so it's interesting because I've totally lost touch with so many people. And I mean, there's some social media there, which is cool to kind of look around, but. Do
you ever find it weird when you can't find a person? There was a girl that every guy had a crush on in 7th grade. And the other day, you get into conversations, you're like, dude, whatever happened to Rebecca? And we're like, I don't know. No trace of her on social media.
You know
Instagram.
What that means?
What?
Porn.
No. Yeah. OnlyFans?
OnlyFans.
No.
Oh, I have to tell you this, speaking of OnlyFans. So I have this next door neighbor. He's like this really like lively guy and has a dog. And Fran and I don't really ever see him. And he lives in the apartments by where I live. And so every now and then I'll see him walking his dog. And other times he goes through, I guess he cleans and opens up his windows, and I'll hear him like belting Beyonce. He reminds me of like part-time Justin a little bit.
Yeah.
And so, but I don't know him. I mean, we've never really even had a conversation. And Fran and I always laugh because his place is either, you always wonder what your neighbors do for a living. Sometimes you're just curious, right? Someone moves in, you kind of peep through the window and wonder what their life's like. Maybe it's just me. And so I'm home a lot. And anyway, so Fran always jokes with me like, he has an OnlyFans account, Jenna. I was like, no, he doesn't. He's like, that's what he does. That's why he always has the blinds closed and it's always dark and we rarely ever see him. And so we start coming up with these ideas, like maybe he's a drug dealer and so that's why he always has the curtains closed. And so finally, a couple of days ago, it was so nice outside and I was getting some fresh air. And so I was sitting on my balcony and he happened to be on his balcony doing what appeared to be like a Zoom call. And Fran had said our neighbor was outside doing his OnlyFans. So I had to go out and see. And I'm sitting there and I hear his conversation. Dude's like an event planner. He's like talking about budgets and like, I don't know if it's for weddings or what. So I was kind of eavesdropping and he's like running shit. Like he's a full on event planner. And that's probably means like why he's traveling and doing stuff.
That makes sense.
So funny.
I do want to destigmatize OnlyFans because I've met a couple people that get upset. They do OnlyFans, but they do only like foot fetish.
I know, no hate. People are making a fortune. I'm all for the money grab.
Just
do whatever makes you some money.
Well, there's people that don't get even naked. And speaking of feet, I mean, imagine if you did an OnlyFans with your features. Like
Would they
show off
approve
all
that?
your sock game.
By the way, they sent me, and I don't know if it's because they heard me talking about my plantar fasciitis. They sent me,
I got those too.
They sent us actual socks that the whole packaging is for plantar fasciitis. So it grips you in the right places, you know, and like more heel support. Totally amazing. And you know what else, JC? I don't have socks on today. I'm wearing high heel sandals, which is such a mistake. But I've read that I'm supposed to be wearing socks as frequently as possible to keep my my uterus warm as I go through IVF.
The health starts in the feet.
The health starts in the feet. And so I'm so glad because now we have so many pairs of features and I can't wait till I can run again to wear my plantar fasciitis special features.
I mean, the engineering that takes place with the feature socks is crazy. I mean, these are high performance socks. And whether you want to get some high socks, mid socks, even the super low socks that you can hide in your shoes, they got whatever you need for whatever sporting or just casual event you have.
And I know you're probably thinking, because I did too, like, okay, they're socks, right? Like, what's the difference? I have white scrunch socks. I have white scrunch socks too, and I'll tell you the difference. They squeeze my toes together, and I don't like how they feel. My feet cramp up all the time. But when you wear features, they are actually designed for your type of foot. So they're going to have targeted compression in the right areas. They're just going to grip your foot in the right way. Anatomically designed, conforming to the left and right shape of the foot. Just see for yourself why Features has quickly become the #1 running sock in America. For all of you listening to the Fitish podcast, you can receive $10 off your first pair of Features when you go to features.com/Fitish. That's FEETURES.com/Fitish for $10 off your first pair of Features.
I love my features. That's when I know I gotta do laundry. When I realized I ran out of my features.
When you run
I have
out of
about
socks?
a week and a half worth of features. That's when I got to tell Kinsey, I'm like, yo, let's get them. We got to get them washed.
Oh, yo, Kinsey.
She's really good with I suck at washing clothes. I try. I like folding it.
This is like when guys are like, I suck at giving massages.
No,
like Fran used to be really good at massages, and then he got worse, just like he was really good at photography. He was good at photography when we started dating. It's gotten worse.
It's because I question myself.
It's because you don't want to do it.
What setting am I supposed to do? And why can't washers now just have like 3 things, like black, white, right? Now it's got like
how about
warm,
this, dude?
lukewarm, cold, 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 warm. I'm like, that's too many options. My mind, now I'm asking questions. Kinsey's freaking getting mad at me because she thinks I'm stupid.
You can learn football plays in a playbook and you can coach football, but you can't remember dark, light,
it's colored. But then it's
you
dark,
also
light,
know
and then
it's
the different temperatures.
But cold, if you don't know best, cold is the way to go.
That way I can read a safety easy. Is he coming downhill? I'm going to drop it over the top. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's way easier than having to do cold, 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 warm. Where's this linebacker going? Oh, this guy's blitzing? Easy. I can learn all the plays easier than freaking doing laundry.
Brand does his own laundry.
Does he?
Yep. He does his own laundry, but I mean, he comes home from this hot workout class he does, and he's soaking wet. It's disgusting. Like, I don't even want to touch that stuff.
You know, there's a thing they did, and Kinsey and I kind of talked about this, but a different way. But they blindfolded women, and then they had them smell their boy or their man's shirt after a workout.
Oh, I could 100% tell.
To pick which one is their husband or boyfriend.
I don't want to smell other people. I barely want to smell the guy I love. I don't.
It's your pheromones. The girls were able to pick out their man's pheromones.
Yeah.
So I asked Kenzie if she could do that, and she thought she could do it. And then so I upped it, and I said, all right, well, since, she just went to Vegas for a bachelorette party, and she went to Magic Mike and all that, and we were talking about crotches for some reason. I was like, do you think, like, if you line me up with, let's say, 10 wieners, and my wiener is one of them, would you be able to pick me out of the lineup?
And? She
says she could. And I'm saying, like, just knee down covered, waist up covered, no tattoos are showing, nothing. It's just it would just be the intimates showing. And she says she 100% believes she'd be able to do that for me. And then it got me thinking. I was like, and then she asked me if I would be able to pick her out of a lineup. And I think I could.
Boobs, front, butt?
The front.
Yeah.
Front, bottom.
Guys are more distinct than girls.
Yeah.
Depending. It all depends on who you're lined up against. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I don't think we're ever going to be able to do that because I don't know if I can
you're easy to tell with that piercing.
Yeah.
No. I'm kidding. He doesn't have a piercing that I know of. Okay, hold on. I want to end the podcast today on, I teased it last week and we didn't have time to get to it, but we got
we don't have time either this week. We'll talk to you guys next. No, I'm just kidding.
No, we got a pretty good question, but I thought we needed to give it a minute to talk about. And I have a feeling that this is going to pertain to like a lot of people. I know I've had this issue in my life as well. So she asked that we leave her name off of this, but she said, hey, Jenna and JC, wanted to get your thoughts on something. JC's story a couple weeks back about his friend who went super crazy alt-right mode made me think of my brother-in-law. I really can't stand the guy. For the past 4 to 5 years, he has made posting offensive and tacky political memes his part-time job, and I hate it. I can't even click unfollow because it's like watching a train wreck. I can't look away. How do you deal with family when they've gone off the deep end in that regard? I feel like he taints all the family gatherings because we're all just waiting for him to say something off the wall, and I can't even talk to my sister about it because she gets really defensive. Plus, I do think she has similar views to him. She just doesn't advertise them as tackily as he does. If he was a friend, I would have cut him out years ago. But how do you deal when they're family and you're stuck with them? That's a really great question because I totally see where you're coming from. And I think all of us have unfollowed people that do this.
And I totally get where you're coming from when you're saying that it's like watching a train wreck happen because you want to stop following them, but then for some reason you get pulled back in, which is actually toxic, right? Like that's what they want. They
also
want to pull
say
you in
that
and they're grabbing your attention.
There's something missing in people's lives. And I'm sorry if you're one of these psychology says that, when you become that obsessed with something, no matter what it is.
Anything.
You can be obsessed with reposting anything, whatever it is, when you become that obsessed with the internet and
working
sharing
out,
things.
It could be politics. It could be work.
There's something psychologically, going on with you. But I don't know, what would you do if this was, Kenzie's brother that you spent a lot of time with, let's say?
She doesn't have a brother, so this is perfect.
Right.
I think I would just, those features that they have on Instagram and Facebook where you could take a break and you don't have to unfollow them.
Yeah.
But you can definitely block what they're posting and you don't have to see it anymore. And actually, that's what I've done. It's out of sight, out of mind. They're still on the friends list because those people, some of those guys will go look back and see if you unfollowed them. And as soon as they notice, they think they got to you and they'll write you responses saying, oh, triggered, I knew you, blah, blah, blah. So the best thing is to not give them the attention they want and just block their posts from showing up. You still have them on your friends list. Yeah. And then occasionally, every few months, check back on them. Because I'll tell you this, there was 2 guys from my college, which is so wild. 2 guys I rushed a fraternity with. Mm-hmm. And you're really close when you rush a fraternity because they're making you do some dumb shit. But I really liked these guys and I saw them as friends and I hung out with them for the first year of my college experience, which was really memorable and fun. And they both went off that deep end. And I got together with 5 other guys just on text and we were talking about this. And I blocked them both. And I went back recently to see what's going on. One of them had completely deleted his Instagram. I don't know where he went. The other one wrote me and apologized. And he said, hey, man, I read back what you wrote me because I basically wrote him. I was like, look, you're trying to feed this idealism that I don't believe in into my brain, and I'm not going to take it. And I've already asked you to stop. You've called me names. You've made up nicknames. You've made me snap on you, and it's not healthy. I would like to go back to us being friends, and I'd like to go back to where we were talking about our happy memories and what's going on in our lives and how our kids are doing, and keep those ideas aside. You don't believe what I believe. I don't believe what you believe, but that's okay. It doesn't mean we don't have to be friends. And he wrote me back and said, I read all that back and you were right. I apologize. I was in the wrong. I shouldn't have been trying to push ideas your way. I kept pushing your buttons because I wanted you to have a reaction. And he literally owned up to it. And I wrote him back and I said, man, let's start all over. Let's start fresh. And he said, absolutely. And that was it. And that happened like last week. So maybe that's something that can happen with your family member. I can't guarantee it because that was one of two people.
I would discreetly target his belongings in car with like pro-choice stickers and other things of that nature. No, I'm kidding. But you know what? Just on that's amazing that you did that. I think it depends on a lot of factors, right? How much time do you have to spend with them? Because if they're that much off the deep end, they're never going to see your side. You're never going to see their side. So maybe you just have to make the best of it. Muting, absolutely key. Absolutely. I went through my account the other day and unfollowed like half of the people I was following just because I don't interact with them ever and it's such a time suck. So you don't need to watch the train wreck. It's negative energy. It's not going to make you feel good. It's only going to make you hold on to all that bullshit when you do have to sit down for a family dinner. And if it really came down to it, I'm pretty direct with friends and family and people in general. And I would say, look, and I've done this with a girlfriend. She wasn't nearly as off the deep end though, but her and I could not feel differently when it comes to political beliefs. And I said to her one day, I'm like, I love you. You know why? Because she's an amazing friend. And I used to be the type of person that I was like, now I couldn't marry someone that had different views than me by any means, right? And raise children with them. But I can be friends. I can have, coworkers. You have to, right? You just have to understand that they feel differently than you about things, maybe, based on growing up and religious beliefs or whatever it is where they get their news. But I said to her, I'm like, I love you so much and you're such an amazing friend to me that I don't ever want anything to damage that. But you can't push your beliefs and your kind of, like ideologies onto me because I will never, ever come around to your side. And that just is me being honest. Yeah. So like, if you can just leave it at that and, don't put me on your close friends list when you're posting all of this stuff and, don't try and share articles with me and do this, then we're fine. And so now we have this relationship that it very rarely ever comes up. And we just have a great relationship and a great working relationship, and it just is what it is. And we don't agree, and we know we don't agree. But it was hard. I mean, we had to set some boundaries, with each other.
You got to draw that line. If you don't draw the line, then both people are going to keep on crossing it, whether it be me or him, or it just draw the line and don't cross it.
It's never ending, It's never ending. When especially when people are super religious, and I'm over here not, and so and when someone's science believing and someone's something else, like I think the hard part about religion that I found, especially when you try and argue with anyone, is that so much about religion's untangible. Like you're intangible. You're arguing things that it's really faith based. So like there's not scientific proof to things, and so it kind of ends there. And so that's kind of where we left it. I was like, a lot of this stuff can't be proved, and like I only do stuff with reason. So that's kind of where we ended it. But it's so difficult.
You can use the books to support something you're saying, but they could also use the books to support something they're saying. So you can always find things to support what you want to throw out there. And I mean,
sometimes you just have to be honest with people, right? And be like, honestly, I love you and I enjoy you, but all you ever talk about is this, and I'm not interested in it, and I want family time to be enjoyable. Let's talk about the kids. Let's talk about other things.
It's okay to talk to your friends like kids, by the way. Tell them, hey, let's just be happy. Let's just be positive. Let's just bring out the good in each other, and then you keep believing that, and hopefully, whatever you want to happen happens. And if it doesn't, oh well, let's be adults about this, and let's just keep going and living life and being just productive members of society. That's all that matters. Just how good of a person can you be.
I understood why people have so many, and you always see that at family events, like the people that all they do is talk about politics, even when they're all on the same side, right? I don't get it. Like, you're not changing anything. Like, they always have ideas on like what they would do. It's like, but you can't do anything,
Let's play Monopoly and fight like a regular family. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's just do that. Let's play that.
Yeah.
But man, I am going to go home today though, Jenna, since I told you my butt is hurting, and I'm going to take advantage of my tonal.
Will you work out for me? Because I'm not allowed to exercise right now and it's killing me.
Not only am I going to work out for you, but also tonal's not just working out. They got yoga. They got stretching routines. We talked about having a Theragun. They actually have a little video on there for me to follow along to how to actually work it correctly. Programs you can follow. Their trainers are top notch. It is honestly the best workout equipment I've ever owned. It really is. It's like my own personal trainer right there in my house. If I don't feel like leaving my house, I can actually stay there for the remainder of my life and get my workouts in. And I feel totally comfortable about that. It keeps track of my strength score. It keeps track of my form. So if I'm not doing something right, Tonal will correct me and say, hey, no, man, let's do it a little bit slower. Let's do it a little bit higher. It is the best workout equipment. So if you're trying to get in on this and you're trying to get your body ready for summer, give Tonal a try. Hit them up real quick. You can actually try it for 30 days, risk-free. Just go to tonal.com for 100% off the smart accessories when you use the promo code Fitish at checkout. Again, that's
$100 off.
What did I say?
100%.
Oh,
which is an amazing fucking deal.
That would be
deal.
free.
Cut
Let me cut that real quick because you're going to go to tonal.com for $100 off the smart accessories when you use the promo code Fitish at checkout. Yeah, if they did 100%, that'd be basically they wouldn't make money. And we want them to make money because they're a great company. Again, that's tonal.com, TONAL.com. Promo code is going to be Fitish. Tonal, be your strongest.
Good workout for me. Please think of me.
I'm trying to get an interview with the CEO, Allie, because this dude he's got everybody trying to get on board with Tonal. Smart man.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I love workouts at home.
Me too. I know Fran's been working out a bunch. Kinsey works out a bunch.
Fran's working out so much he's gonna leave me.
He's not gonna leave you.
He is.
Kinsey's going through the same thing too, Jenna, by the way. Where she's going through a phase right now where she says she doesn't feel confident.
Interesting.
But I look at her and I'm like, I still find her so sexy. And I'll tell you this, and for all the girls listening that maybe don't feel very good about themselves right now, if your man tells you he is absolutely salivating over you, believe him.
Yeah, but we can't have intercourse right now, and he's following all these sexy Instagram accounts, and I'm like,
Yeah, but he still loves you, and he still tells you you're beautiful. Because he's a Latin lover. I know he tells you that. I realize
it's a little late I agreed to marry him, but that's the first time yesterday because I'm being crazy.
Yeah.
I went through everyone he was following on social media, and I don't know why. I've never done that, which is funny because, I mean, that's usually behavior like most girls do when they go out on a date with a guy. They kind of see, is he following like all these sexy accounts, you know? He's really not. There's just, you know, there were a few kind of, you know, questionable follows on there. And anyway, so I was laughing and giving him shit about it because I recognized that I was just being crazy. And I think it's because we can't have intercourse and he's like always wants to have sex and then I'm like, we can't, you know, we're not allowed. And so it's just a little difficult.
I'm honestly looking at Fran's follow list right now and there's not any ones, and I've been scrolling for a minute. It's not like other dudes that I've seen that every other picture is a butt picture. It just looks like
it's not the unattainable ones you have to worry about, JC.
Okay, we found one. I found one. Okay.
Who is she? And a Spanish bio. I don't even know who she is, and I don't even understand.
That's just probably a friend he met from like a long time ago. See, his follow list is not that bad.
No, it's not because he cleaned it up yesterday.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
How many people did he drop?
Exactly.
That one's another one did you see this one earlier?
You know,
that's just yoga. My friend is into yoga, first of all.
All his single mom yoga instructors that he follows.
We don't know if she's single. She might be in a very nice relationship, but sometimes they try to hide it from the fans.
Women only post photos with her kids and there's never a man in the photo. She's single mom in it. A hot single mom at that.
Yeah, you absolutely have nothing to worry about. But I get you.
I was just feeling edgy yesterday. I was just feeling all like cracked out, which is funny. No, I mean, it wasn't an argument or anything. I hope you know I can say these things and it sounds really crazy. I'm only got kind of crazy for a moment. It actually didn't erupt into an argument. I was teasing him about it because I recognized I was like, why, why am I feeling weird? And it's just
I hope medicine. You know that as your slightly older brother, just by a couple days, I am always going to not follow bro code when it comes to guys you date or marry because we have known each other longer. So if I see something,
I know, I love that. Something. Like the last one, you were like just such a loser, and I was like, I know.
But see, sometimes I just have to let you fail.
Like everyone in my life told me that.
But with my man Franz, I don't see nothing. I see something. I don't see bad. But if I did, I would tell you 100%.
Though. Do you know what I mean? I'm so scarred from the last one being so unpredictable that you just kind of wait on the, what's the expression? You wait on the other shoe to drop. Like you're always just kind of waiting, which is a terrible way to live. Again, a reason I need to go to therapy.
And I've been honest with you too, with guys that I'm like, yeah, this guy's really cool. Like I like him. I'd probably be friends with him, but not going to be a good boyfriend. And I've told you about those guys as well.
Yeah.
And I'm right like 135% of the time. I get bonus points. I'm AP student when it comes to finding out douchers.
I need you to come be my CFO at Fitish. You do such a good job with your math.
Shoot, girl, I'll do it for free.
Okay, well.
Wait, no. I ain't going. Hold on.
Oh. 100.
Yeah, I'll do it for free for a little bit.
100% off?
CFO?
Can I get it for 100% off?
You can have it for 100% off. Damn, I just give my my services.
Well, have a good workout. I'll see you next week. I'll hopefully be feeling better by then.
Hopefully our butts both feel better next week.
Oh, I know. I'm going to be very worried about yours. Everyone write us a message about JC's butt.
I'm going to go do more donkey kicks. Bye.
Bye.